Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Lone Wolf. In this episode, Basil is attempting to get a boat in order to sail out looking for Damaris based on the vision he had in the last episode. Now, we basically fast traveled to the docks of Featherwind, which is one of our locations. In my last video, which was a workshop video, I discussed about skipping, trying this new approach to the series, skipping hex travel and doing fast travels. Each episode focusing on these little quests, like mini quests, mini missions for Basil. So each episode is kind of a quest within itself. So we have Basil here. He's at the docks. You can hear the sounds of the ambient sounds of City Harbor. Now, what we're looking at is basically Basil is right here, and there are two city guards posted. Basil sees someone on this little boat. We're not too sure who that is, and that's all within the view of Basil at the moment. So, let's first start the scene off with a question asking if anything will happen out of the ordinary, because right now, things are pretty calm. So let's just roll our D100, and I'm going to click the camera out a little bit just so you can see my roll. Okay, so 50-50, does anything happen out of the ordinary? 49, that is a very weak yes. So something does happen, though it is very minuscule. I'm going to draw a tarot card to see what this happening is. And there's a couple of decks. There's a couple of decks I have here. Okay, it looks like this is the card I drew. Now, in my last episode, my last video workshop, I mentioned tarot cards is good for very unique, specific moments. So perhaps this might not be a moment for a tarot card, but let's see what happens. King of Wisdom. I think what this means is that Basil is looking for someone who is in charge of the dock. So the dock master. I believe this individual right here as very symbolic as it is and very mighty and powerful, this is probably overreaching. I think it's just someone who's responsible for the docks. So that's how I'm reading it at the moment. Basically, I think Basil can see someone in the distance who appears to be an individual responsible for the docks. And we can ask the Oracle if this is the person who is responsible for the docks. Perhaps it is. But this person is on a boat, so I don't necessarily think it's going to be, but based on Basil's first perception, he sees this individual who is well dressed, or at least dressed for traveling on the sea. So obviously an expert, or at least someone who's familiar with the waters. Let's say it's also 50-50. Okay, so this person of interest could be the dockmaster, and Basil has his eyes set on this person. Maybe he thinks this person could help with Basil's quest. So Basil is going to walk up, attempt to walk past the guard. This guard is talking with this other city guard. And as we cross over, this guard stops us for the following reason. Let's use the GM Apprentice Deck. I think what we have here is, I'm looking at quite a few options here. So the shipyards, well, that's where we are, but I'm thinking of this, the return. So this guard is is familiar with us, basically. So he's not specifically a we're not exactly, maybe we're acquainted to this guard. He recognizes us from our last visit to Featherwind. So he says, "Hello, welcome back. Good to see you." And I think Basil will recognize the guard. He says, "Ah, yes, good to see you again." And the guard asks, "What brings you to the docks?" Basil simply states that he is looking for a boat. He's wanting to travel out into the sea with a guide. And this guard says, Are the docks open? I think there's something amiss here, because if we have city guards who are posted at the docks, there's something happening in the background. I think there's an issue in the air. Let's roll. So, is there something happening that's kind of cautious in the current setting of things? Let's roll 75% chance. So, 85. Okay, so perhaps no, there is really nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe perhaps the guards are waiting for a boat of the guards are waiting for a shipment to arrive of weapons and weapons, yeah, weapons, armory. They're simply these. This guard says, well, if you're looking for a boat, go ahead and speak to this individual here, which we'll get. We'll grab. Let's grab a name of this individual. It'll be an NPC. So I'll get I have my little notes here. It's just been south of the camera. This individual will be. Oh, we already used this card because Merrick is on there. Let me use a random card in the middle of the deck. Okay, here we go. Charlotte. Okay, Charlotte will be a female character. Let me get my NPC list here and add Charlotte to. He says Charlotte is the dockmaster. She is in charge of what comes and goes here. So Charlotte. Writing this to my list now. Dockmaster for Featherwinds. Dockmaster for Featherwinds. I think Featherwind is the town name. Just double checking my work here. Yep, Featherwind. Okay, so he says speak to the dockmaster, Charlotte. She will, if you have any questions, if you need a boat, she's the person to see. And then the guard points to that she's working on this boat right now. She's maybe cleaning it up. Maybe it's a rental. Maybe this boat is a rental. So he says thank you, and then this guard continues saying, what are you going out to sea for? Basil does reiterate it's probably linked to the bounty for Damaris. So Basil's still maintaining that identity that he is actually looking for Damaris, not truly giving the intention away, but he's acting like a passive mercenary. His interests are eyes are set on Damaris. And the guard laughs and says, "Yeah, good luck with that. I doubt she's out in the sea." And Basil says, "Yes, quite, but I have a potential lead, and I'm confident that my source does not lie." So the guard says, "Oh, well, good luck to you, my friend." So we pass by, and as we pass by, we approach. There's just I'm assuming there's a little plank here. The boat's kind of tied to the dock here. So Basil approaches just about here, and I have a feeling there's going to be a little change in scenery or a change in setting. So let's roll for 50-50. Okay, something does occur. Now let's try one of our Oracle dice. I don't use these too often. Let's roll for it, see what happens. There is going to be an encounter. Difficulty is medium. Now the encounter will be this. Attacking. Okay, so while we are suddenly just about to aboard and talk to Charlotte, there are going to be several individuals who attempt to attack. And let me get some tokens. Okay, so we have 2 Creed members have been stalking us since we left the tower, and they are right behind the guard here. They have long-range weapons, so they fire an arrow into the back of this guard, so he collapses. He dies. The other guard quickly turns to his left and pulls out his weapon and pulls a shield up and says, he shouts, "Murderers! Lower your weapons!" The dockmaster does a 360, no scope, kills both of the dice, runs and dives onto the lower part. I will just put her off camera here. She's hiding underneath. There's a lower deck of this boat. There's the stairwell right here. So she dove and hunkered down. We obviously see the Creed. Well, there are some. Well, okay. I'll give this to Basil. There are some crates here, so we hide behind the crates, not knowing what's happening. Essentially, I won't give it away yet that they are going to be visibly Creed members to Basil. This guard is going to shout to us, shouting, "You, fighter! Let's see. Does he want us to help? or does he want us to duck and cover? Let's say 50-50. Does he want us to help? Okay, he does. 25. That's a standard yes. He says he he runs off because he knows that these Creed members have long range. Maybe this guy has a long range weapon. This guy has a sword or a melee weapon. So this guard is about to yell at us to say, "Quickly, assist my friend!" And then right before he finishes talking, this other Creed member shoots an arrow into the side of the neck of this guard, and this guard takes a hit and falls into the crate, so he's dead too. Now, uh, the two Creed members jump over the body, and with arrows, we are hiding behind the crates here, kneeling down. So we got to roll for a dexterity. This other member is just behind the body here. So let's roll. Where's my 2d6? So 2d6s. We're rolling with a plus. Actually, no dexterity. This will be an attempt to remain stealth, based on my maze hack rules. So I'm rolling. Let's see, a 6 plus nothing. So that's going to be a fail. This guy sees us. He pulls his arrow out. And does he fire immediately? Yeah, he is attacking. We rolled that they are attacking. So he says, "There you are." He says, "We found you." He fires an arrow. Now we're going to roll for battle. So this will be an encounter. We don't have a long range weapon, so we're rolling for to start the encounter. So let's roll for 2d6 plus 3 strength to attempt to block the arrow. So that's a 6 plus 3, so 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this roll kind of takes care of this entire turn. So this will be back and forth. Oh, by the way, I finally found a way to print on notes on note cards on cardstock. So I have my character sheet now on a Maze Rat custom print, kind of cut off for the Maze Rat, because Maze Rat comes with two character sheets. I have one cut off for this top here, so this is fairly convenient for me now. So this is a back and forth. We are going to jump out and attack him, and we roll our damage die. And also, I have a new rule that I've added to my maze hack. Similar to Scarlet Heroes, we have the fray die, but I call it the attack bonus because it's basically an assist damage die that attacks anyone who's equal or lower than our characters. However, this character is higher. Well, let's see. He has an armor of 4. I'll say they are equal to us level 1, so they're minions. So our fray die is an extra kick, extra damage, whether or not we miss, whether or not we actually hit. So what we're going to do is roll for our damage die, and then we'll roll with our Warhammer. We have a D8. We still have the Warhammer from last episode, right there. So roll a D8, and they'll roll their attack die. So 6. That's a difference of 2. So they take 2. This guy takes 2 damage. His armor's been reduced to now 2. But he attacks us. He pulls out a rapier, and we'll give him a. We have armor of 4, so I'll give him a D6 just to give it some challenge. So we're rolling for his damage. 4. Negates to the 4 total damage. Okay, so this other guy jumps over the body, runs at us, and attacks with his sword. So we'll roll for this new encounter. Plus 3 strength. Okay, so this is another 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is another partial. It's a back and forth once again. So we'll roll for damage. D8 at this guy. Ooh, 8. Nice. That's 4, which means he takes the Warhammer straight to the face, falls into the water, and is destroyed and is killed right off the first swing. Now, because he's been killed, I'm going to roll my fray die, which I forgot to do for my initial roll, but it's a D4, so it may or may not hit this lower. I might change the roll. So I think fray die only works for enemies who have equal or less armor than the player character. I have my rule sheet on the side. I'll update that later on, but again, it's always a work in progress. So I think the Freydie won't be relevant to levels, but necessarily enemies who are weakened below a D4. So it has to be, 3 or less for this even to work. So we'll roll Freydie and 3. So then he takes another hit. Maybe the Warhammer was able to. We hit him back and hit him. Also hit this guy here. So now we're rolling for a standard encounter. Let's get our 2d6 plus 3 strength on the roll here. We have a critical. I don't even have. I'm going to explain how this happens. So this guy is on his knee. He took that hit to the face. He spits out some blood and teeth. It's just. He says right before we finished him, he says the following. Let's pull an oracle card out. I'm feeling this might be minor in story, but he says, let's see, what does he say? I'm gonna say, let's see, which one's to speak? Religious fear. Exchange religious fears. So, I believe the Creed are a very religious cult. We're just going to build on the Creed a bit. Because remember, there was that magic user we dealt with, the wizard, who we defeated fairly easily in the last episode, actual episode. And so he says that the gods will smite you for stopping our plans. So and then when he finishes talking, we take the Warhammer and we just home run his face, and he just goes flying back into the crates. So, with these 2 guards dead, and we took care of the Creed, those 2 Creed members. Let's put the dice away. Like so. I'll keep these 2 dice handy because those are check related, and we got my Oracle dice that I should probably keep also on the mat here. These other 2 guards run in, and they stop. They see us with our weapon drawn, and they see the dead bandit, the dead Creed member, and the other one in the water, bodies floating like this, like face down into the water. Now the guards, do these guards know us? I doubt it. We don't have a huge reputation with the guard. We only have mingled with a few of them. So I'm going to say 25% chance they don't know us. Okay, so their initial reaction is that they see us with a weapon, they see the dead guards, they see their fellow dead guards, and they also see the dead Creed members, those initially bandits to them, and they surround us. They says, "You, put your weapon down. What happened here?" And Basil simply explains that he was ambushed by some Creed members, and he took them. He literally just took them out. While we're chit-chatting with the guard, the dockmaster who's working on her boat pokes her head up and sees us. She's just a spectator right now. So the guard's coming closer. Do they believe us? We need to roll for a +1 will. We're trying to convince them that we're innocent. We were just here to rent a boat, and the Creeds ambushed them. And the guards were killed first, and without any way to him to help. So we're rolling up 2d6. Oh, okay, so we're kind of... Okay, so that's good-ish. 6, 7, 8. That's an 8. They do believe us. One of the 2 does. Let's say this guy right here believes us. This one's doubtful. And so the guard says, "Your story seems to check out," because he walks up to the guard. He checks his pulse. He's dead. The other guard keeps an eye on us. Sees the Warhammer we're holding on the ground's dropped. Well, we have a grip on the Warhammer, but it's like on the ground. The head of it's on the ground, and it has blood on it. He looks to the dead Creed member on the crates, kind of to the side here, next to the guard, and he says, "You bastards." And Basil again tries to reiterate, "Look, I know this looks bad, but I was simply trying to protect myself, to defend myself. I had to take them out. They killed your 2 fellow guards. I would have no reason to do the same." Again, this one says, "Look, we believe you, but I'm not the boss here. This guy is the boss. He is in charge of the small little, again, of the 2. He says, He looks back at Basil. The dockmaster, Charlotte, she jumps out and then she kind of leaps over. She walks up to the guards and says, "I can vouch for him. I saw everything, my own eyes. Your two fellow guards were killed by the Creed as they ambushed us. I hid in my boat, but I saw everything. Your friend here defeated them both." And the I'd say maybe the lieutenant or the captain, he says, "Yes, but at the cost of my two guards." He says, "Fine, you are free to leave, but don't go far." And he says, "Well, I have plans to rent a boat from Charlotte here." And she says, "Really?" This guard looks to the captain and says, "Captain, what do you think?" Basil turns to the guard and says, "Look, if it's any context here, I'm also looking for Damaris. She's wanted, isn't she?" And the guard, I'm not going to roll for that. I'm going to say the guard is intrigued. He says, "You're looking for her too. There's quite a number of you. Are you a mercenary or a bounty hunter?" And he says, "In nature, yes, I am." Charlotte is, again, she's spectating, she's listening in. Let's get a little closer to her. Here we go. So she's listening in. The guard says, "Okay, fine. You have our permission to leave the docks. But upon your return, seek me out. I am Captain, etc." Let's look for a name. Captain Harriet. I like Captain Harriet. That's a good one. Okay, so Captain Harriet. He is just another captain of the guard. I'm write his name down off camera here, just for my reference. Let's see, Captain Harriet. Let's see, City Guard. More captains of guards from the Darkane series I did. I had a lot of guard interactions with the City Guard. Featherwind. There we go. Not trying to build too much of the lore here, but I want to just establish some context. Okay, so he thanks him. He says, "Yes, I will seek you out first thing upon my return." So he turns to Harriet. The guards assess the situation. They are going to interrogate the dead bodies. We can't loot them, unfortunately, because if the guards didn't show up, we will loot them. Harriet speaks to Charlotte. Basil speaks to Charlotte. He says, "I was told," after Harriet puts his warhammer away, cleans off the blood, because "I was told you were the dockmaster. You're the one I should see." Charlotte says, "Yes, that's me. I'm the dockmaster. What do you seek? A boat?" He says, "Yes, I wish to rent a boat. I need to travel out to sea. I have a task at hand I must complete." And Charlotte says, "Yes, I heard. You are looking for Damaris, are you not?" And he says, "Yes." Now she has a little, she smirks a bit and she says, "I can't help you." She walks away and jumps back on her boat, and then we watch her. She continues working on whatever she was working on. Now we look around, and there's this boat right here, but it looks, let's just say it looks damaged. Maybe there's a hole in it. It's kind of partially sunken. Not exactly not very deep ground water here. So he walks up to her, puts his foot on her boat, and says, "Listen, it appears you have some knowledge. You know her by any chance?" And she says, "Why do you want to know? Are you looking to kill her?" And then he looks back at the guard and kind of whispers to Charlotte and says, "No, I'm not a bounty hunter. I'm not out to look for her. I am trying to find her and help her. Her life is in danger." And Charlotte, taking a little interest, walks up to us. She leans forward and says, "Why are you interested in her?" And again, our character is just a vague hero. We're nothing really we're not like some huge backstory. There could be some huge backstory, but we won't get to that just yet. We don't really know just yet. So he says, "I am just an everyday adventurer. I'm here to help. This is my calling. My destiny is to help the innocent, and she is in danger. I was just at the watchtower south from here. I had a vision. She is in danger. She is held captive on a boat out in sea, and this is my only way to get to her." So we have to roll for these. Well, okay. So she thinks about it for a minute. He says, "What can you prove that you know her or have any intentions of helping her? Well, we pulled the diary out. We still have the diary. That's been our go-to for helping her, or for at least showing that we have some kind of um, connection to Damaris. We pull her diary out. So he says, "Look, I found her diary at her hideout, her safe house, the haunted tree. She was taken, and I believe the Creed are responsible. I just literally found the Creed's ledger, and he pulls out the Creed's contact list, and he shows the list. So she kind of shakes her head, she nods, she says, okay, you have my attention, you have her diary, now what do you plan on doing? And then he says, I need a boat. Do you have one available I can rent? I will pay handsomely for a boat rental. She says, yes, the one you're looking at is my only boat left, but this is my personal boat. If you want to take it, I will have to go with you. And he says, I do not plan to have any sort of company on my ride out, but I am no sailor. I'm willing to pay you if you are willing to be my guide. And she says, that sounds good to me. So we're going to basically pay her, not necessarily rent the boat, but pay her for her guidance to take the boat out. So she agrees. She has to go tell her quartermaster or assistant that she's leaving and to leave while the guards are picking up the dead bodies here. She says, "Don't." She says, "Be back in a few minutes. Just wait here." So she runs off, and she's going to go tell someone about the where she's her next what she's doing with us. So meanwhile, we walk up to the guard. This guard right here, the captain's over here. This is just the other guard. So he says, excuse me, guard. And he says, yes. And he stands up as he's holding his guard's body, his colleague's body in his hands. He says, yes, what do you want? He says, listen, may I have permission to look through the Creed's wares? I believe I might be able to find something of use, a clue, basically. The guard. This will be a D20. I want to loot the basic. I want to loot the bodies. So this will be a +1 willpower. That's a fail. 5. This city guard says, "No, I'm sorry, but this is a crime scene, and we can't have you tampering with the bodies. Please back away." So that's a fail. We are not able to. I rolled a 4. You guys can see. I rolled a 4. +1. That's a 5. It's failed. So we back away. The city guard takes his. We'll take this token off camera here. Walks up to his colleague, and they're both holding their dead colleague. Says, "We have to get back to the barracks. We need to. Well, let's see. What would they do here? I don't think they just put their bodies in a wagon, perhaps, but they put the two bodies together. So they drop the two guard bodies together, and the captain tells his guard, "Listen, stand post here. I'll be back with some help. Keep an eye on this area." And this guard says, "Yes, sir. Yes, Captain." And then he walks away. He walks off camera. Okay. And he says, "Listen, citizen, I'm sorry, but you have to back away." So we back away. Creed returns. She says everything's arranged. We can set sail now. So, Basil says, "Thank you again for this." She says, "As long as your intentions are good, I will help you. And for the price." She says 50 gold. Basil's like, okay, 50 gold it is. So I pay her 50 gold. We're down to 105 gold now, gold pieces. She says, and then 50 for the return. And we say, really? So she jumps on the boat, turns on and says, yes, that's the deal. 50 to start, 50 on the return. And well, we have to agree. She says, okay, so we walk in the boat. The boat's water's picking up. She said, and she looks out in the distance. She says, it appears there's a storm coming. And Basil looks also and says, yes, but that's not the only storm that I'm worried about. So she unties the boat and kicks off, and we set sail. So that's going to be it for this episode. There's obviously not going to be a level up. We just had a little encounter with some Creed. We had some interaction with the guard, and we now have a secondary character, an NPC that will be assisting us on our travels. So in the next episode will be another quest for the continuation of the search for the Mars. But now we will. I'm assuming the next episode we will do a little time jump, and we will actually get to the ship we need to find, the pirate ship, whatever the creator, whatever's going on out there. So I'll figure that out between now and then. But that is all for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Take care.